Debt freedom is not the finish line. It's the starting point, the starting line. How many of you have dreamed about that day when you make your last debt payment? No more credit cards, car loans, student loans. You're finally free. And how many of you would like a plan once you're out of debt to truly build lasting financial freedom? Welcome. I'm Jason Sipple, Jason Patrick Sipple, and I want to congratulate you for showing up today. You're in the small percentage of people who are actively investing themselves because you're not just satisfied with getting out of debt, you want to stay free, grow, and thrive. So today you're going to walk away with a clear step-by-step financial hierarchy to follow after debt freedom. How to build that emergency fund that actually grows and protects instead of sitting idle in your bank. How to protect your family so crisis doesn't sink you, that unexpected change we always talk about, and how to create an opportunity fund that multiplies wealth without giving up tax-free compounding growth. When my beautiful wife, my warrior goddess, and I paid off all of our non-mortgage debt, we freed up $3,300 a month. It wasn't overnight. We did it slowly, systematically. And when we made it, when we paid everything off, I thought we made it. I thought we were ready to go to the next level. We had arrived. But then what happens? Unexpected car repairs, a dip in the business. And I realized that without a plan, without following our basic hierarchy of needs, we could end up right back where we started. Going back to the basics, the dribbling, the foul shots, the infinite banking system gave us a guaranteed place to store our money, to build the opportunity, and it was all in one system. It wasn't complicated. So today's purpose is to give you the same financial roadmap after debt, so you don't lose momentum, so you don't make the mistakes that we made, frankly, and you keep building towards true freedom. We're going to translate Maslow's hierarchy of needs, yep, back to high school, into a financial version and apply it step by step with infinite banking. By the end, you're going to have a framework that you can start using immediately to secure your safety, shield your family, and create a growth engine for life. Does this sound like a plan we're sticking around for? So let's jump in. Again, debt freedom isn't the finish line, it's the starting line. Maslow's pyramid isn't just a psychology concept, it's a financial survival map. If you've been working to eliminate debt, credit cards, car loans, student loans, you know how consuming that process can be. You're laser focused. It takes grit, it takes sacrifice, it takes letting go of some of the things that you might want now, delayed gratification. And when you make that last payment, there's this huge rush of freedom. You're thinking, I did it, high five. But then something surprising happens. Others start spending freely. You reward yourselves. You think you made it for all that discipline. And before long, the debt creeps back in. And it's kind of unexpected. And often you're left feeling directionless. You've been in fight mode for so long that you don't know where to point your money next. You hadn't had thought past that moment. You didn't even really imagine what it could feel like to actually be out of debt. So getting out of debt is like clearing the weeds from your yard, like spring cleaning. It's a great start, but without planning something intentional, the weeds come right back. Without having a system and a process, your yard looks a mess again. And today, we're going to talk about what happens after the debt is gone, how to rebuild the safety net, protect your family, and set an opportunity fund that grows for life. We're going to, again, use a framework you probably remember from high school psychology, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Because the same way humans have a sequence of needs to thrive, from the bottom to the top, to getting to this point of self-actualization, your financial life has a sequence of priorities for you to truly be free. So let's look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Let's kind of walk through them from the bottom to the top. At the bottom, we have the physiological needs. That's just our survival. That is our basics, our water, our food, our shelter. This is survival mode. This is if, like, think about it. If the fridge is empty, the lights are off, you don't have a place to sleep, you're not really thinking about how do I go out and change the world? You're truly thinking about how do I eat? How do I survive? How do I get the lights back on? And then the second level is safety. Once you have the basic needs covered, once you have your food, your shelter, the second is protection. How do I make sure that when, God forbid, I'm no longer here, that my amazing family is still taken care of, that they can still pick up the pieces, have time to reset, and move forward? So that second level is safety. Next is when we start really enjoying it. And this is where sometimes we get in trouble. Level 3 is love and belonging. That's your relationships, your community, your tribe, our tribe right here. This is where you start having room to invest in people. You have time with family. You can go out dinner with friends. You're part of a community. It's our need, right? It's our need for connection. This is where your money starts helping you deepen relationships. You start doing business with people you know and like and trust. It's this community. It's the community that we're building. And then fourth, you have self-esteem. It's when you feel you've achieved, you have respect, you have confidence in yourself. You have done the hard things, and you have that confidence, that collective, calm confidence that you can get it done. No matter what's put in your way, you can do it. And this is where maybe you start looking to pay off a mortgage, scaling a successful business, funding your kids' education, building in the community. It's that confidence that comes from winning. And you see how it's becoming less and less. You're going up to that 5% as you go towards the top. And then you get to self-actualization. This is the point in life where you want to give back. Your life stops being just about you, not just about your family. Now the mission is bigger than yourself. The mission is the big man's, intention for you. Maybe you get to that point where you feel like this is what I'm meant to be doing. I am ready to go to the next level. And now your money, because it's multiplied, it starts really becoming a tool for purpose, for change, for helping more people get what they want. And so we want to make sure that in this theory, again, just a theory, but in this theory, we don't want to skip levels. We don't want to think about what is our big dream, our big goal when the lights are going off, when we can't feed ourselves, when we're not healthy, when we're not taking care of our basic human needs. If you're starving, you're not thinking about how can I go out and make sure that all families have food on Thanksgiving. It's a beautiful thought, but the reality is that you got to feed yourself. You got to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. And that hunger will drive you to that next level, will drive you to do the hard things, to do the things that need to be done, the action that needs to be taken, the ownership that you need to accept to move forward, to move up this pyramid. So let's dive into this a little bit more. Let's look how this translates. How does, you might ask, how does Maslow's hierarchy of needs translate into financial freedom? Because your physiological needs are basic survival money. They're the most fundamental, including your food, your water, your shelter, your clothing. Money is essential to acquiring these necessities. So that's that first level. And then your safety net, again, your emergency fund, your family protection, your life insurance, your whole life insurance from a mutually owned dividend paying company, because life might throw curveballs. I've talked to several of our clients recently that were widowed within the last couple of years, and then other family members pass away. It's horrible. they're dealing with estate and probate and things. You want to make sure at that second level that you have a safety net, that your family's protected, that you have set up systems and processes for that big what if day. It's coming. We just don't know when. And then with love and belonging, this is when your ability to care for your family is taken care of. And now you can start giving to causes, spend time with the community, go build a community, go out and do hobbies, social games, have shared experiences. That's where the joy in life is it not? Like go to a taekwondo class, go to a martial arts class, go roll around with Six Blades Jiu-Jitsu with Gabe, and do each of these levels. Get to the point where you can grapple and spar without hurting someone else, and now you have a shared experience that you can talk about afterwards. Go out and have something healthy to eat afterwards. Maybe even have ice cream. Get a little crazy. It's Thursday. You have ice cream for lunch. I don't know, but that third level, that relationship money, and then you start having achievement, the fourth level, achievement capital, home ownership, maybe buying a second home, education funds, career advancement. You get all of these different opportunities to expand because you've taken care of the basic needs, you've created protection, you're able to go out and do things in the community, and now you can start expanding, right? And then you get to the top, the self-actualization. This is where, we ask all the time, at least I do, like, God, why am I here? What's my purpose? I joked around that for 46 years, I felt like a Pokemon card. You're like, I'm evolving and then going back to basic and starting again and evolving and going back to basic and starting again until I finally looked at something that scared me half to death, which was finances and money. And I said, what? It's that simple? I change one thing. There's a system and a process I can follow. I can wrap my mind about that. How many of you have felt that? Like the ones that are practicing infinite banking, put a yes in the chat if you've got to the point where you're practicing this and you realize that it's just a life commitment to mastery. Look at the guys. Yes, me. It's awesome. It's awesome, guys. Thank you for sharing. And that's the next part of this, right? And so when we go through, remember, what we're talking about today is how do we have that post-debt hierarchy of needs? After thousands and thousands of conversations, this is a really big topic, and I was trying to find a simple framework, something that we would recognize, something that makes sense visually, where we could come back together and say, okay, so in the past, we get out of debt. And then we're like, now what do we do? Or now that I have this money, where should it go? Should I go buy myself a new car? Should I do the next thing? And the answer is maybe. It depends. But if you have the roadmap, the three-step process, if you will, of what's next, you start building something that looks like this gold pyramid. You start looking at Maslow's pyramid. You said, okay, at the base, we're going to have our emergency fund, the liquidity for curveballs. It rolls right in with the laws of wealth. We're going to make sure there's a moat around our money that's supposed to be going out and working for us. That way, when change comes, talking to a real estate investor earlier today, got his Tesla, got in an accident, and he went out and purchased or financed the next car, and it got an upgrade, and now he's a car payment again. Wasn't planning on it, but he's like, Jason, I wish I knew about this or put this into my life first so I could have my money doing three things. So that protection layer on the bottom, that opportunity fund we're building up over time. And then next is your family protection. As a guy providing, protecting, procreating, we don't feel free. We don't feel secure if we don't know that if we're not here, if we're unable to work, that things will keep going on without us. That's when we start really thinking about the long-term thinking, right? The first principle of infinite banking concept, long-range thinking, as Nelson would say. And then finally, the opportunity fund. I talk about this constantly. You're building up what? An opportunity fund. Is your opportunity fund maybe also your rainy day fund, your what if fund, your fund for travel? It can be all of those things because it's the possibilities are infinite. And the reason that order matters, let's jump into why does the order matter? Before we do that, before we do that, let's remember to, if you're new here, you've got to smash the like button. You've got to ring the little bell. It might just turn orange and subscribe to the channel. We want to invite others to come on this journey with us. If you're someone who's just got out of debt and maybe now you have more funds flowing back to you, go ahead and schedule a call with me to talk about how do you go to the next step of protecting your family, protecting your spouse, starting your kids with this process, because now you have more money. How do you expand your system? Or if you're still in debt and you want a roadmap, how do you get out of debt so then you have exactly this problem? Then go ahead and also schedule a call. We'll pop the link into the chat. My beautiful warrior gals will get it in there in a moment so you guys can look at that. And let's go through why the order matters, right? Now that we've spread the message, you've invited all your friends. I know some of you are bringing your brothers and sisters, and keep inviting people. This mission is growing and getting bigger every day. We're out of summer, so now it's time to accelerate as we head to Q4. So step one, that emergency fund. What is the emergency fund? It's that financial safety. And what do you've heard? What do most financial talking heads say? Well, you should have how many months set aside? Pop in the chat. How many months right now do you, if you're willing to share, do you have sitting there waiting for the what if rainy day? Like, how long could you go if you just stop working today or something happened where your air condition, your home goes and it's 100 degrees in Florida? Or, you get in a car accident that's not your fault and the other person's not covered, and all of a sudden it's a big mess and you don't have transportation. How long are you covered for? A month, 2 months, a week, 3 months, 6 months? Well, what if you took that funds? A lot of us have that safety net because this is what we've been taught. But instead of storing it in their system, right? Because remember, on our safety fund, banks are making 400 to 1,300% on every dollar we store in their system. If that is our safety net, why wouldn't that money be working for us? Why wouldn't we have the money doing 3 jobs? Saving it where it's uninterrupted, compounding, growing forever, spending someone else's money to cover that emergency, never interrupting that compounding growth, and simultaneously protecting our family, right? For that day. So that foundation is critical. It protects you against market swings. It protects you against being taxed on whatever you're earning in that bank account, whether you have a high yield. If you do, great. I know some of you do. I've asked it on Tuesday. You guys had like 4% and 4.2% high yields. That's a smart place to store your money temporarily and make a little bit of interest on it. But remember, that's taxable. But still, if they're going to give you free money while they're making money on your money, take advantage. I know I would, but store the money someplace where it's accessible, liquid, guaranteed, protected, all of the living benefits. And now the next level is going to be that family protection. It's what happens when that day comes, when you graduate, when you die, when you're no longer here, when you move on, when you shuffle off this mortal coil. I'm sorry. I apologize. Maybe some of you are thinking, man, Jason, I am like Highlander, Duncan MacLeod. I'm immortal. I will go on for generations until someone comes and you know how it ends. And I will go on forever until that day. Great opening song with Queen. But now this is where Maslow's love and belonging meets safety in the financial sense. It's that family protection. It's that having a multiple of whatever you are storing in your liquidity fund, in your protection fund, in your rainy day fund. I used to call it my pirate treasure map. I think I'll dig it up one day and I'll share with you guys how I was thinking about this when we first started to think, could we really get out of debt? Is it possible to use this system? This can't be true. If this is true, everybody would do it, wouldn't they? But that money, think about it. If it's an exercise of logic, reason, prophecy, and faith, as R. Nelson said, logic, reason, prophecy, and faith. Never said numbers. But if the number one asset of the banks is our debt, our cars, our credit cards, and our homes, and the number one asset, 34% of its financial assets for the US government, for Uncle Sam, is our student loans. What a profitable business. We're talking trillions and trillions and trillion dollars a year. So wouldn't it make sense for us to take back control of that money, to store it in our system, to be able to protect our family? And now you could even take it a step further. This was even part of this, but in the future, you guys are going to find out, how do I actually secure this with a simple trust, not some crazy eyelet or irrevocable. Like, most people don't need that, but how do we have our wishes, our values carried on through a constitution, through a trust, and have these systems be the beneficiaries? It's just a little sneak peek of something that's coming that we're doing personally, and I'm going to share with all of you. So your IBC death benefit becomes much more than a payout. It's peace of mind. It's a feeling that you know that even if you're not here, you've already done your job as a man or as a woman. You've provided, you've protected, you've created, you've made sure that the lifestyle, the educational plans, and the future dreams stay intact. They're not interrupted by tragedy. And step three, that golden pyramid I showed you, is that opportunity fund. And this is where we all want to get, right? We want to go ahead immediately and start moving our money to make money and have money come back in. But there's something to be said to build up your opportunity fund from the debts, to know that eventually, within maybe 5 or 10 years, you build up enough of an opportunity fund that you reach your freedom number. What's a freedom number, Jason? Pop your freedom number or your idea of your freedom number in the chat, if you will. Like, that means that all of your lifestyle expenses are covered. And if you don't know your freedom number, that is a really cool thing to walk away today. Make that note and say, what is my freedom number? What is the number that it would have that every single dollar that my money has made for me now covers my whole pyramid? It covers all of my needs, and I can actually just go and be and do. Now, at that point, you'll have self-actualization, and you'll want to keep giving and growing and creating more. But it's a good feeling to know that once you're out of debt, that path forward is, how do I get to my freedom number? How do I get to the number that covers all of my bills, expenses, debts, fun, whatever it is that you want to do? And the magic of what we're talking about is that you don't have to choose between using your money and growing it. You can do both. You can go create a spread and have the money growing. Whether, that full amount continues to compound inside the policy. You deploy the funds, they borrow the funds to wealth building ventures. When it comes back from that venture, you store it back here until another opportunity comes. And then you keep doing this cycle. You keep cycling the money, because now you are the master of the money. You have a completely different relationship. You can comfortably say, I love money and money loves me. So we went through these 3 steps. They're 3 easy steps. And I wanted to point out some of the dangers of skipping levels. If you ignore, like we did, we kind of ignored it. We thought, hey, we know what we're doing. I teach this every day. How could I do this wrong? We didn't really get it wrong. We just realized, wait, like, there is no perfect. We want to be imperfectly perfect, and perfectly so. And we realize, without knowing and measuring and monitoring every dollar coming in and flowing out, and maybe wanting to skip levels, maybe wanting to go to self-actualization of what this founding father's mission stands for. How do I reach 10 million fathers and their families? what partnership, what who's, and, it's such a big dream that we're all part of. And you start skipping some of the basics. And that when you skip it, when you skip the emergency fund, a single crisis could be as silly as needing new tires on all your vehicles or new brakes on all the cars. Within 5 weeks, we put new brakes on all 3 vehicles. That wasn't expected. And that starts adding up and starts putting you back in a place where you can't expand because you didn't build that emergency fund, that opportunity fund for when things do happen, and they will happen. And then if you skip the opportunity fund, one day someone's going to be, hey, Jordy, hey, Emmett, hey, Dwayne, hey, Christine, Chris, I have this amazing deal I just put my money into, this joint venture, this real estate multifamily, this hard money lending, whatever. I have this opportunity and I'm doing it, and it's awesome. I love the people. I'd love to introduce you so you could vet it yourself and check it out. And you're like, I can't. Not right now. Not at this moment. So you'll have to say no when life presents to you a high value, time sensitive opportunity. So IBC, there you go, road debris. That's it. Change will always happen, my friends. Thank you, Gabe. IBC lets you stack up levels inside of one system. It allows you to slowly, over time, with long-term thinking and constant capitalization and not stealing the P's and not taking on debt from third parties and rethinking your thinking, guess what happens? Your policy gets better and better and better and better and better every year, and you can't do anything about it. So it solves your system by having a system that you have action, you have, you have persistent, consistent action towards a goal. And that goal, you're welcome to change it. But when you apply this immediately, here's what happens 1 month after you're out of debt. You take write this down. If you're newly out of debt, if you're about to be out of debt, make sure you capture this. This might be the best thing I tell you the whole time that I'm sharing with you today, speaking to you today, hopefully pouring something into you that you're going to walk away and apply like I started all this with. You take the exact amount that was going to their family, to them, to the ones that set up the system that we are all at some point have been controlled by. It's a slavery system financially. The money that was leaving us, now it's coming back. What do you do with it? Where do you park it? Do you just start buying stuff? No. You put it back into your IBC policy, into your warehouse of wealth, into your privatized banking system, to your specially engineered whole life. And maybe you add some additional PUAs if you're able to. Maybe you expand the system. You build that emergency fund. You wait till you get to that 3 to 6 months, whatever your comfort level is. Maybe it's a month or 2 months, depending on how you cash flow, how good you are at making money, depending on where you are on the scale of risk and how old or young you are. You build that opportunity fund for you, that rainy day fund inside of your system. And once that's done, once your family is covered, once everything's protected, then you get to really start accelerating. Then you get to start putting that money to work, making spread, having your money. You hit that year where every dollar you're putting in gives you more than $1. And now you're making money here. You're making money here. You start making money everywhere. And more opportunities come. Have you ever noticed that folks that are really wealthy, they have a million opportunities. And most often the ones that are uber successful, the ones that go from being millionaires to multimillionaires to potentially billionaires, is because they do one thing and serve at a massively high level with that one thing. And so today, I talked about my story again, so I'm not going to dive deep back into this, but I just want to make sure that you understand that these are the same things that I am going through personally with Patty, with my family, is we did everything I'm telling you. Every single step we have had to look at and say, how can we communicate this in a simple way? How can we make it so simple that we can apply it? And we last few weeks, I've been sharing what we've done with the laws of wealth, from Earl Nightingale, how we applied them. And today, with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we've applied it to your finances. And we've shown you that we can say yes to the deals that we want to. And we didn't do anything that's unique. We did something that's been around for 200 years. And when these unexpected expenses come up now, I don't lose sleep over it. I no longer, like, you guys can reach out and ask my wife this. I no longer lose my mind when I find out the brakes are bad, the tires need to replace, we got in an accident, whatever. I don't like it, but I know we're okay because we have built that emergency fund inside our system that's protected, that's growing guaranteed, that we control, not somebody else. We're first in line. So let's recap this. Today, you've learned the post-debt hierarchy. You know how to build your emergency fund inside your policy. Lock in your family protection so your loved ones are always secure. Grow into the opportunity fund to say yes to wealth building chances. Reinforce your system, your process with good habits. I've shared after that we get out of debt, life still throws curveballs, change still comes, as Gabe shared in the chat. Infinite banking gave us the structure to weather storms, seize opportunities without ever starting over. This gave you a clear financial roadmap after debt, after you have freedom from debt. We use and applied Maslow's pyramid, showing you that you can't skip steps, but it translates our financial priorities, and you can protect what you built, you can grow it steadily, and you can pass on the legacy. So here's your challenge. Take the amount that you were sending the debt, redirect it into your policy. Build your emergency fund, secure your family debt, and start the opportunity fund. This recapture money might be how you turn your debts into freedom and a lifetime of realizing and self-actualization. If this resonated with you, scan my QR code. Book a call with me if you haven't started. If you popped I in the chat earlier and you haven't started and you want a map on how you can start, or if you've been practicing for a while and you're now out of debt, it might be time to start having a plan to expand your system, maybe to add additional PUAs in. Scan the QR code, book a call with me. And as always, I am so grateful, so excited that this community is growing. It's getting larger and larger. There's more and more people reaching out, sharing their wins, sharing their stories. And we have so many cool things coming in the near future, but keep learning, keep going to this next video and watching. You're smashing the like button. You are ringing the bell because it might just turn orange. Make sure you subscribe. There's way more people watching the videos than subscribing. Subscribe so the message can reach the masses. If we're going to inspire, educate, and transform 10 million fathers and their families, secure them from financial slavery, we have a long road ahead, and I am excited and blessed to share it with each and every one of you. If you got any questions at this point, pop them in. I've enjoyed this one. I hope you have as well. So be blessed. We'll see all of you in that next episode. We're going to keep bringing new things, new simple things, right? Keep it stupid, simple, and we'll have some fun. Thank you guys. Love you all. Talk to you next time.